Welcome to Verbal Pick Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday people. Like to welcome you all to the show, right? Now, I've been a little under the weather because a best friend of mine, Wenda Hill, a.k.a. Jody, passed the other day, right? Matter of fact, on Father's Day. And I learned a lesson from that, which I'll share with you all before we get into today's show. The lesson I learned from that is your parents can die, a sibling can pass, a loved one, significant other, right? But when a good friend dies, it's different. It's a different kind of grief. Simply because that friend you've known since childhood, who you shared your secrets with, they know you. You did things together, going out on prom with your dates and, hustling together and whatnot. When that person is gone, it's like, wow, when you in the bind, who do you go talk to, who you sit down and may have a drink with and go over some issues or problems in your life, or when you get something new, you want to go and show them. And when they got something new, they come and show and share with you. It's wow. It's rough, right? It's rough. We're gonna get on into today's show. We dealing with critical race theory, right? Acronym CRT. The critical race theory is an academic movement of civil rights scholars, right, and activists in the United States who seek to critically examine U.S. law as it intersects with issues of race in the U.S. and to challenge mainstream American liberal approaches to racial justice. Now, I know you also saw this and heard of this in the news, and you had those who were against teaching critical race theory, as they call it, to white kids in school, because they felt as though, why should their children have to listen to all the horrors of whites or their ancestors inflicted upon the heads of black people? Why should they have to feel guilty about what happened years in the past? Now, let me explain what it's about, because it's not really about the children, right? No, it's about industry, and it's about concepts, and it's about maintaining and staying in power. They didn't implement the Willie Lynch doctrine on the lives of black people in America for nothing. They didn't paint white Jesus for nothing. They didn't pull the black man out of the crowd of his peers of black people and put a suit coat, an old raggedy suit coat on him, and have him become the preacher and teach, turn the other cheek, and if the master is cold, give him your coat. They didn't spend all that time, effort, and money not allowing black people to read and write so they can shape and condition the minds of black people to fit their objective, their agenda, and their purpose. For all of a sudden today, we want to come up with something called critical race theory, where we're challenging all that and pointing out where they were wrong. They had no basis to justify their actions, works, or their deeds, right? Critical race theory even goes so far as to say, wait a minute, black people were the first Native Americans in America, and actually this is our land. And so they want to fight back against critical race theory because doing the detective work into uncovering the truth of what actually took place in the past, is calling the, I'll say, evildoers to the light, and they don't want the light shined upon them, right? So, of course, their goal is to shut it down by any means necessary, because the lies that created the foundation in America can't be discovered and uncovered, because it will cause a great fall, as in the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's book, The Fall of America. Similar to what took place and what's going on currently in Miami, where they built a structure, the foundation, on sand. And there's reports of one lady who was calling her husband, telling him that she saw a sinkhole where the pool used to be, and that possibly the weight of that building, built on sand, caused it to sink and collapse. Similar to what will happen when all the untruths and all the lies begin to be uncovered and discovered. Then those who built their whole lives, career, and foundation on those lies, everything that they built and stood for, will come tumbling down. And so, instead of doing the right thing to preserve and save humanity, those in position of power are only concerned about their bottom line, right? Meaning that they don't want to see change. I had one white guy tell me one day that black people were better off when they were Christians and when they were enslaved, or when they were slaves. Right. Having an open discussion, meaning you're allowed, and I'm talking about white man, you're allowed to get off your chest, your core beliefs in dealing with black people, so we can have an honest dialogue. And his honest dialogue statement was, he felt that black people were better off when they were slaves and when they were Christians, because he started noticing a lot of black people was leaving the Christian religion. Right? He felt as though that white people were better at managing the affairs of black people than black people. He felt as if black people were better off being led and guided by the superior mindset of the white race, right? Because if not, we would turn on each other, kill up each other, and we wouldn't be able to survive, maintain, or take care of ourselves without them. All right. Now, he's right in a sense, and I'm going to show you where he's right at. And you hear me say this 1,000 times on this show. He's right in the sense of, if you destroy a human being, which they did, not allow them knowledge, not allow them, make it against the law for them to read or write, right? Having the ability to know, right? Once you strip them down of knowledge to where they're solely dependent upon you, then yes, you created a condition. That way you can say that you're the only solution, because you created the problem and you knew the key to the solution. But that's not what we're saying. We're saying, if you go back before slavery and you look at the contributions that black people contributed to the world and also to Europe, and also building Spain, the Moors, also black people who was teaching medicine in Europe. And then we know